allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please call the roll?
Senators Anderson, Barnett, Bolweg,
Here.
Fry,
Here.
Christoffels,
Here.
Darinch,
Here.
Duncan, excused, Holland, unexcused, Howell,
Here.
Jensen,
Here.
Campson,
Here.
Lopez, Mollison,
Here.
Paudel,
Here.
Pulse, unexcused, Roca,
Here.
Shemek,
Here.
Smith, unexcused, Stein,
Here.
Warfa,
Here.
Diversity Liaison Alex,
Here.
Communications Chair Ringenberg,
Here.
Finance Chair Delahoyd,
Here.
Government Affairs Chair Hunt,
Here.
Chief of Staff Peterson, here, Vice President Sierra,
Here.
President Spear,
Here.
AFA, unexcused, AISA, unexcused, BSA,
Here.
GSA,
Here.
Hero,
Here.
IRC,
Here.
LASA,
Here.
RHA,
Here.
Unified Council,
Here.
Unified Council,
Here.
UPC, unexcused, Dr. Schmidt,
Here.
Dr. Willis, excused.
Moving on to adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda tonight? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda? Senator Stein? All those in favor of moving or adopting the agenda, please signify by saying aye. All opposed? The agenda is approved. Likewise with the minutes, are there any additions or corrections to the minutes tonight? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes? Senator Howell?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are approved. All right, we move on to open forum item A. We'll have Jody Owen, the Senior Director of Wintroad Student Success and Opportunity Center, and Tina Bergen, Coordinator for Student Success and Opportunity.
All right, well, hello, everybody. I'm Jody Owen. I'm the director of the Wintroad Student Success and Opportunity Center. Thank you to President Spear, Vice President Sierra, and Chief of Staff Peterson for inviting Tina and I to come in tonight and talk a little bit about the work that the Wintroad Center performs for SDSU students. We usually come in once a year to talk with you a little bit about our work, and I feel like this connection is a really important one to develop. Your organization, our unit, have missions of being good advocates for our students, making sure that we are meeting student needs. And I think the more closely we can work together, the better outcomes we can present for our students as well. So really appreciate the opportunity to visit with you tonight. We do have a pretty good history of working together over time. In addition to working with the Student Success Center, I serve as the coordinator for undergraduate advising at SDSU. And so many, many years ago, our office worked with Students Association to create the advising awards that you now give out. And you may not even be aware of that history because it's been quite a while ago. And we also supported a Students Association resolution to identify appreciative advising as the primary advising model that is used at SDSU. And we also have a senator who serves on our advisory board each year. And this year, that's Senator Barnett from the College of Nursing. And so we really, again, appreciate the strength of that connection. I want to talk with you a little bit today about some of our accomplishments. Prior to this meeting, I had shared our annual report from last year with your leadership. And was this distributed? Did you get a chance to take a look at this before the meeting? If you didn't, I certainly can send that out, or it is linked from our webpage as well. Shows some information about outcomes from the Wintroad Center. Both for the center as a whole and then for each of the programs that are part of the center. We use our data-driven outcomes and our student learning outcomes, so I encourage you to take a look at that and see some of the work that we're doing for students at SDSU. We really ground our work in a few different strategic areas, and these are areas that we know historically and currently really make a difference in student success and retention. So we look at access. Are our programs easy for students to access and engage with? We do look at sense of belonging, and we look at self-efficacy because we know that it really matters for students to feel like a campus is their home away from home. and to develop the skills that they need to be confident in their ability to succeed. So all of our programs are grounded in those 3 areas as we plan that work for students. Now, I'm going to highlight just a few items from the annual report. I wish that we could be here with you for 2 hours. We were joking a little bit in the back about some meetings are short, some are longer. You probably don't want me to be here for 2 full hours tonight. So I'll hit on a few highlights, but always welcome your questions through email or stop to the office anytime throughout the year. So one of the things that I wanted to share is that we are a certified learning center. We're certified through the International College Learning Center Association, and we are actually one of 17 learning centers worldwide that has achieved that level of certification. In addition to our center being certified, all 3 of our peer educator programs are certified as well. They're certified through the College Reading and Learning Association, and that is tutoring, supplemental instruction, and peer mentoring. So having those certifications really just demonstrates that we are meeting the standards of our industry, that we're achieving excellence in our outcomes, and that we're really committed to doing the right things for our students. So those are a few things that I wanted you to be aware of. Also, from the access component, we served more than 5,000 unique students last year. We're really charged with serving undergraduate main campus students. There are other offices on campus that serve graduate students or distance students. So that's 5,000 on-campus students at the undergraduate level who were served through our programs last year. And those 5,000 students accumulated nearly 40,000 visits. So it's not just that students are coming in to see us, but when they come back, right? So we know that they're having a good experience and they're feeling connected to the work that we are doing. So a couple of outcomes there that I wanted to share. Most importantly, we serve students and we employ students from every college at SDSU. So each college is impacted by the work that we do. We employ more than 80 students every semester. And those students are typically in leadership roles where they're developing communication skills, problem solving, and other employability skills that are helping them to gain employment following their graduation from SDSU. And finally, the last thing that I wanted to share with you is that we have really great support from SDSU's administration. This year we had a request approved through UBAC to add another staff member to the Wintroad Center, and that was an advisor in our first year advising center. I'm sure you all are aware that first-year student numbers have been increasing over the last few years, and that means that our advising loads have been increasing. And when you think about our advisors working not only to help with course planning, degree completion plans, but also that holistic approach to access, sense of belonging, and self-efficacy, and that skill development piece, and we want to make sure that those advising loads stay small enough that advisors can really have that impact. So adding that staff member has actually decreased our average advising load from about 340 students to about 300 students. So that really has helped to make that a little bit more manageable as well. I do think probably as we wrap up, there will be an opportunity for questions, but I want to turn it over to Tina. Tina Bergen is here. She's our coordinator for student success and opportunity. And Tina has spearheaded a project at SDSU in partnership with some other offices that I think is really exciting for students, and she's going to come up today and share a little bit of information about that.
Okay, thank you for having us here. I do have exciting news, but I want to first start by saying how grateful I am that all of you have chosen to be in the position that you're at and that you've chosen to serve SDSU and your student population. So congratulations to all of you for your involvement. Second, I want you to also know that I am here to serve you. That is specifically my role on campus. So I do have some business cards that I'll leave here. If you would ever need connections or resources, please reach out. It's an open door at all times. I'm in Wagner 251. So again, that I'll leave some business cards. All of you should have your MyState portal and should be able to work with that. And I'm just going to pass some of these sheets around. And if you would like a digital copy of it, I can certainly get you a digital copy, or a digital copy. I can certainly get you one of those too. How many people do you have here? 25, is that right? We'll just keep it going. All right. So My role on campus is to work as the facilitator with the Student Success Network. How many of you are familiar with the Student Success Network or have even heard of it before? Okay, a few of you. So this is a group that we work together, and there are 16 campus partners. And these partners and I meet on a monthly basis, sometimes more than that, but on a monthly basis with targeted efforts and approaches to support you. So just so you know, we're here to support your holistic needs and raise those visibility to resources that are available. We have priorities that we discuss as a group, and I just want to highlight the first two on your sheet that you're looking at. The first one is to strengthen our strategic communication and cross collaboration among our network partners. And then the next one would be to develop and implement supportive resources. And that ties us into what we're going to talk about today. So last spring, Oscar had invited some of you to get together and participate in conversations. And I know Alex and a few others in the room had participated in those and shared valid, and Emma shared valid insight to that. So I truly thank you. And I'm so excited to tell you, as of October 23rd, this project did come to fruition and we have a start on it. So thank you for that. So I'll give you some background on how it works. So our group, there's a whole pilot of information, and then I know you're on a time and agenda, so I won't necessarily read through all of those things, but we had two targeted goals. One was to create self-help videos, and then the second one was to work on reels. And then each of our network partners got together, we brainstormed, like I said, and all that information that's listed there, visited with UMC, visited with marketing, connected with other organizations to see if they could help support this mission as well. With that, the social media reels, we had great success in the fall and spring last year. They did a first gen highlight, how to stay motivated, online tutoring, checking in for the first year advising center, you belong here. And that was more of a sense of belonging from several different campus partners where we created reels to help students know that they belong here. Thanksgiving break room checks, and UPD safety tips. So there were some targeted efforts. If you saw any of those things, those were through our network. I see Jack's Cupboard is here as well, and I did connect with them, and they also produced a Jack's Cupboard social media reel. So that was kind of exciting. Our next big push was to get the information out there regarding the videos that we had created. So there were self-help videos, and with those self-help videos, that was the portion I had reached out to Alex, Emma, and some of the other people asking their feedback. The feedback that was shared is on the MyState portal. Oftentimes, students go to one designated spot, and that is called the dashboard. Raise your hand if you agree dashboard is the place you tend to go. Yes. How many of you go to Getting Started? How many of you go to Student Life? That's what we found, right? So we were excited to tell you that the dashboard is primarily created for action items. That's what that is created for. We are in a phase 1 and a phase 2, and if you look at the back of your page, you'll see there's a spot on the very top. That's what you'll see right now. So for those of you in the room that have your MyState portal and you want to go into it, you can certainly look, but that video is, the set of videos is all found there at the bottom of the MyState dashboard towards the scholarship area, I think is what it is, and then you can search. So that is really exciting. All of the videos that are listed there are now in one spot. The next phase, phase 2, will be for us to get it into the action items. For example, if registration, we met with the registrar's office gave their feedback. Anything that's a video pertinent to registration will go there. Anything that's pertinent to action items will go in those spots. So just be aware that's coming in the spring, and we're excited. So thank you for your efforts in sharing your feedback, because we heard you and it did get implemented, so we're excited to share that. Any questions you have for Dr. Owen or I? Yes.
I have comments as a faculty member.
Yes.
This is great, by the way. One of the things that I think would be helpful for advisees is some tutoring on DegreeWorks. It's an awesome tool, but most students are not aware of it. And you know what happens if you want to change your major, making sure that everything is lined up for graduation as you go along, petitions, everything else is going to be in there now. I think that'd be a good one to get students to know. And then secondly, the appointments on Connect State. at least in the College of Engineering, we have a lack of implementation. I might be one of the only ones on Connect State. I get mechanical engineers, I'm civil. I get mechanical engineers, I get, computer science, I get construction management, because I'm the only one who's got their calendar on there, so they just sign up for me. And so I don't know how I've been trying to talk about this in our faculty meetings, but getting more faculty to take advantage of that Connect State. Maybe other colleges and departments do a better job, but I know in our department, the faculty have been a little recalcitrant to implement that. And I've been telling them how easy it is to be able to merge their Outlook calendar with Connect State. You put something in your Outlook and it goes right in there. And so they're not scheduling appointments over the top of other things. I found it a very useful tool. And it's the students, that's where they're told to go first. And, there's kind of a disconnect there right now, so.
Yes, and I'm going to let Dr. Owen answer that. But specifically, I thank you for using Connect State, because that is something that Jody and I both use. And when we've talked to students, the fall of 2022 when I arrived, we had talked to students and they all said they want Connect State. Like they want more faculty to use Connect State. So thank you for using it and being a champion on that. I'm going to let Dr. Owens answer that.
So I'll respond to both of those things and maybe communicate with you directly as well. But we have some graduate assistants in our office who've been offering some workshops and specifically related to advising. And so we had one workshop this year on how to prepare for your advising appointment, and then another set of workshops on how to actually register after you've met with your advisor. And I'll talk with our team about getting something going this spring related to DegreeWorks. I think that's something we could add pretty easily. And I think also with scheduling appointments through Connect State, we certainly are interested in that. At one point, I think we had done training with the entire college, and there was almost a requirement for everybody to use it, and I know that's changed. So perhaps we could connect and work together to get something going more college-wide.
That would be fine. At the last faculty meeting, seemed everybody was interested. Nobody was doing it. I think if we would have had their computers there and a person there, we could have signed them all up because they were curious on how to add their calendar on and that kind of stuff too. So.
We're happy to be the people in the room to help with that. And from a student's perspective, are both of those things helpful to you as well? If we would offer some DegreeWorks trainings and get more faculty involved with using Connect State for appointment scheduling. I'm seeing a lot of head nods. So, okay, great.
What would you say is your most used program within the Wintrode, and then what's your least used? I think.
Sure. So that's a great question. So our most used program right now, I think, is supplemental instruction. So tutoring and supplemental instruction both have huge usage numbers, and so I think maybe fewer students with SI, but more visits with SI. And so those are certainly some of the more popular programs. Least used, I'm going to say accountability groups. And I think one of the reasons for that is that's a little bit newer program. So this is really only our second full year hosting accountability groups. And students do have to sign up pretty early at the start of the semester. And so sometimes they're just not ready, or they don't know that that's something they need at that point in time. But if there are partnerships or ways that we can work together to promote accountability groups a little bit more, I'd love to have that opportunity. Great question.
Could you elaborate on what accountability?
Sure. Talk about accountability groups. So accountability groups are really just what they sound like. So we set up some groups at the start of each semester. We promote them. Students can sign up to be part of them and tell us which time slot works best for them. And then we just schedule a room for those students to get together once a week for 90 minutes. We have a facilitator in that room. Typically, it's one of the graduate assistants who works in our office, and they can facilitate a session where in the beginning, every student in the room sets an intention. What are they going to accomplish in their time together that day? And then they have about an hour to work on that thing. It can be anything that's going to help them be more successful. It might be studying for a test. It might be completing homework. There was a student one time who was like, I just need to get my bills paid so I have time later that I can study. Like I have some other things I need to get done. We don't care how the students spend their time as long as they are productive. And the idea is then that you have a whole group of people who are accountable to each other. Each student will get an accountability partner in that group who they tell their intention statement to, and that person is kind of in charge of helping them stay on track so they don't veer off track. And then they work independently for about an hour. And then in about the last 20 minutes, that facilitator does some training on some kind of a study strategy, time management strategy, or self-management strategy. So it's really focused time based on the concept of body doubling, where you are in the same space as somebody maybe not doing the same thing, but staying on track. So who couldn't use a great accountability partner? Sometimes we even do it in our office when we have to complete a task. It's like, let's schedule a meeting, let's go sit in a room, and let's get this thing done. So the students who participate find them helpful. And I think one of the things that I love about it is it's designed to be about that self-efficacy piece of the work that we do, but we've had an unintended outcome of creating belonging. A number of the students who come in and participate in accountability groups are telling us that they don't know other students on campus. They don't have people to do that with, and we're providing that group for them. So it's been very positive for the students who've participated. Thanks for the question. Yes.
I have another comment. Maybe this is the most appropriate place to ask it, but it's not an appropriate question. On Connect State, it used to be that as a faculty member, I could look up any student. And I think that's access has been taken away, so now I can only have access to my advisees. I'm not against that, but there's been a fair amount of times where a student walks in that's in my class, not my advisee, asks a quick question about their schedule, or a student comes in and says, I don't know who my advisor is. I used to be able to go on there and say, oh, your advisor is this person. I would say that maybe we should revisit that. I know it's a FERPA probably issue, that you don't want all the faculty being able to look up every student, but used in the correct way, that was a great tool. That's the only way I have to look at, was the only way I had to look at other students, because I can't do it in Banner or anything like that. And so now I gotta send them away and hopefully find someone that can help them, but.
Right. I appreciate that question and that request, and I'll maybe follow up with you separately through email and provide some of the justification. And yeah, absolutely. Great question, though.
Any other questions? I encourage you to please share the video links with the people you know. There'll be a distribution plan that we've started, but you're kind of the first on the front to hear about the videos. So I think there's a lot of great resources that can help. Any help is appreciated.
And thank you again for inviting us in. We appreciate you giving us some time tonight. So take care. Have a very productive night.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to open forum item B, public comments. Are there any members of the public that would like to address the Senate tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to committee and staff reports, beginning with my own. A little bit of a long report today, so give me some patience, y'all. I just want to kind of touch up on our exec socials event. This is something new that we're doing this year, so I want to just make sure that everyone's on the same page with it. So our exec socials event is kind of, I've been quoting it as a glorified President's Council. It's an opportunity for clubs across campus to come to this event and collaborate with each other, but also learn about what Student Association does, and probably more importantly, what Student Association can do for their respective organization. We strongly encourage all attendance, as this is not only an opportunity to learn more about Student Association, but it's an opportunity to connect with like-minded clubs that might potentially promote collaboration and accountability. Great opportunity for accountability. Yeah. And yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. It's on November 22nd. It'll be from 10:30 to 12. We'll have light refreshments, and the invitations are still out. So if you have any questions about your club or whether you are eligible, we sent it to all Jack's Club Hub people, and we would love to have everybody there. In addition, senators, if you guys would like to come, we strongly encourage your attendance to help us facilitate the event, as well as also just kind of dive into those conversations and give a Students Association perspective. So if you guys are willing to come to that event, we would love to have you. In addition, kind of just wanted to give a little announcement. If there is no new business next week, November 17th, we will most likely not have a meeting on November 24th due to the Thanksgiving holiday. However, that's pending on no new business next week. Finance Fun Time met on Friday, Finance Fund Time met on Friday. You'll see that our amendment is formally on our agenda now. We worked quite hard on this, and it is a long one, so Chief of Staff Peterson is going to elaborate that in her report, so please take a look at that if you will. The GAF strategic planning meeting after our Monday night event went great. We got a lot of really good feedback and had some good discussions. The GAF task force formally met last Friday. We talked about kind of the feedback that we got, what we can roll out, what we can roll in, and then put down some rough numbers. Those priorities included, but not limited to, expanding the union's hours, campus printing, student organizations, career development, and etc. Currently, Wesley, Vice President Sierra, and I are following up with individual faculty members to answer those questions and get us all on the right page to get that recommendation as soon as possible. In addition, the Accessibility Task Force will be meeting next week, and we'll have an athletics representative to come and talk to us about accessibility inside of the stadium. That is all I have. Vice President Sierra?
Yeah, November 17th, we're going to reopen Senator at-large petitions for the spring semester. So if you know anyone who's interested in running for Senator at-large position, have them email me at the Vice President email, and I can send them all the links for that. Student Federation met last night. I'm just going to touch briefly, and then Government Affairs Chair Hunt can finish up. Students for Higher Education Days is planned for January 25th and 26th. So put that in your calendars. And then we have 2 openings for the University Wellbeing Committee. If anybody is interested in sitting on this, I will send out an email probably tomorrow or Wednesday when I find out when the meeting time is to see make sure it'll fit in your schedules. But if you're interested in it, please email me. But I'll be reaching out to everybody with more information on it and report.
Chief of Staff Peterson?
Yes, if you guys haven't noticed in the office already, there are essay stickers on the coffee table and on the little table in the back. So if you want a sticker, please take one. We have plenty. Share them with everybody. That would be great. As you can see, this is what they look like. So yeah, we have lots of those. That's pretty exciting. I forgot to mention that last week. Also, as President Spear said, our executive social event is happening soon. If your club is not already signed up, please encourage them to. If you're in any club, everyone is invited. We want everyone to come. Also, if you're an ex officio, you are invited. If your club is not signed up yet, I strongly encourage you to sign up. And if you need the invite or the form, if you can't find it, let me know and I can send it to you. I know it says that they closed last week, but we're still accepting RSVPs. So, and then, yes, the finance amendment that is happening tonight, or that is on the agenda tonight. We worked really hard on this. If you guys have had the chance to look through it, it is very confusing. There's a lot to it. We did a lot of reorganizing. We added a lot of things. For those of you who have not looked through the finance part of our bylaws, it is very vague, really hard to understand, hard to tell what certain things are referring to. So we just wanted to clean it up, make it more clear, easier for us, easier for clubs. And so I encourage everyone to please read through that. And the best way, in my opinion, to read through it is to have the bylaws pulled up and have the amendment pulled up and read them next to each other, because otherwise it's kind of hard to tell what is different, what has been added. And if you notice, there's a lot of red words in there. So all of the words that are red have been rearranged, and then all of the words that are bold or underlined have been added. So they were not in there previously. So if that helps you understand how it's set up. But if you have questions, please ask them, because we encourage questions. We put a lot of work into this, but we understand that it can be confusing if you have not looked at it before. So please ask questions. And finally, if you are not going to be on the Senate next semester because you are graduating, because you are getting an internship, because you're doing anything, and you are not going to be on the Senate, ex officios, this does not count for you, just senators. Please let me know. You need to let me know so that we can know how many spots we have for at-larges. So please send me an email right now or after the meeting if you're not going to be on Senate next semester. And that's the end of my report.
Finance Chair Delahoyd?
Yep, so this last week I worked on the GAF task force, allocating some of those funds like President Spear talked about. Been working a lot with new venture funds and some other club funding opportunities, getting clubs money and bringing them to the finance committee. Working on scheduling for the fiscal year 26 clubs, so clubs that received funding for this last year, to come and present to the Senate at our meetings next semester as required in the bylaws. And then I will be touring Larson's on Thursday to see the new renovation.
Government Affairs Chair Hunt.
So yesterday, as Vice President Sears said, I attended the Student Federation meeting with him. Biggest thing that we discussed was upcoming Shed Day. It's January 25th and 26th of 2026. It is required that you either go to Shed Day or to a Board of Regents meeting, and the next Board of Regents meeting is in Sioux Falls, December 10th and 11th. There is a tentative schedule set, but I will be sending out a Google form for you guys to fill out, saying if you're going or not. And then we also began planning our meeting for December, which again is happening in Sioux Falls. And then I also registered President Spear, Vice President Sear, and I as lobbyists this week as well. And then there is a Student Promotion Fund Committee meeting this Thursday at noon. And I sent out an invite on that committee, and please let me know.
Communications Chair Ringenberg.
The rabbit report was sent out this morning. Our apparel order is being processed. I'll update more when I get more information on delivery dates. I'm working on updating meeting information on the website, and then Communications Committee is working on getting ornament creating supplies in the office to make ornaments to decorate our Christmas tree. Once we have those supplies in the office, we'll let you know, and we encourage you to come decorate some ornaments for a tree. If you have any ornament supplies you would like to see, let the committee know. The report.
Diversity Liaison Alex.
VSA and ASA will be planning on collaborating for a Thanksgiving potluck next week, Thursday, at the Brookings Multicultural Center from 6:30 to 8 p.m. or 6 to 8 p.m. We'll be providing transportation, so if anybody needs a ride there or anything, just let me or the president of ASA know. We'll also be having homemade cultural foods and catering from different restaurants in Brookings. And we will also be accommodating and considering any food allergies or restrictions. Also just let me or the president of ASA know. And then posters will be sent out or spread out this week. And then I kind of just wanted to highlight tomorrow is Veterans Day. Just want to acknowledge the sacrifice and dedication that those who have served have experienced. And I just want to encourage everybody to just thank anyone that served.
Moving on to ex officios, beginning with AFA, AISA, ESA.
We had a meeting last week on Thursday. It was a painting set that turned out really good. We had a lot of people show up. We had a lot of fun. And a report.
GSA.
We will be having our drag show on Thursday at 6 in the Volstar Ballroom. Hope to see y'all there. End of report.
Hero. IRC.
We just concluded our elections, so we have a finalized executive board that will be meeting sometime later this week. End of report.
LASA.
We still have our ofrenda up until Thursday, and
RHA.
We provided a small amount of money today to help State-a-thon with their event on this Thursday. They're doing a little minnow event outside. Really cool event, kind of sounds fun. And then we've helped receive some, we've also received some other funding requests from different hall governments, things like helping control water pressures in their halls. Also talked a lot about different program ideas we might be doing with her upcoming semesters, the upcoming semester. End of report.
Unified Council.
IFC has our elections this Wednesday, and 9 fraternity men were inducted into the Order of Omega. That's a national Greek honors society, and it's open to the top 3% of Greek life members. So I'm very happy with that. End of report.
Unified Council.
CPH had 11 women inducted into Order of Omega as well. We have matriculation, which organizes chapters, events, and efforts. That's this upcoming Thursday. And then our applications for executive board close tomorrow, and then our elections will be next week. End of report.
UPC.
So we had our salsa night that took place last Tuesday, and it was our joint event with LASA, and that went really well. We had around 75 students who attended. And then our next event is Tuesday the 18th, and we're having a packing night at 5 o'clock. Basically, we'll be packing commodity boxes that will be donated to local shelters. And the report.
Moving on to Advisor Schmidt.
Yeah, welcome. Short report today. Sorry you guys couldn't make the meeting last week. Just letting you know that, well, I had a funeral scheduled for Friday anyways, and then I went to that, and then my mom was in the hospital. She got out, she's fine, she had a heart thing going on, she's fine. So I stayed a few extra days with her, and this whole thing occurred in Wisconsin, which is like a 9-hour drive. So once I left on Friday, it was just getting back. On Monday, I drove back and it was pretty late. So anyway, sorry I missed that. I'm sure it was thrilling. The other thing is I have and I'm sure it was actually. The other thing is I have a few questions on the amendment that you guys are proposing. Who do I send the questions to?
It'll be any of the sponsors, or you can, I would say probably one of us three.
Tom?
Yeah, you send them to me.
All right, I'll try to get those sooner than later so you can think about them and address them if they need to be. It's not anything critical, but
Okay.
I did review it and I did have some questions on some of the hows. So,
Sounds good.
end of report.
Thank you. And then moving on to committees. Are there any committees that would like to report out tonight? Senator Podell.
I attended Student Success Committee meeting last week, and I just discussed in our meeting, we covered about the update from the Student Committee and High Impact Model Subcommittee, where Student Success Model group reported on the My State progress that just Gina Berg told us about, and for Stop Winter Pace, including the plan to gather the student success feedback through the survey and improve awareness and success service. And this High Impact Model Group evaluated media resources and discussed the campaign for the resource and study abroad opportunities. And we also reviewed like what are the Student Success Network has done in the My State and discussed feedback for the winter and student engagement and the feedback that are already given to the Winter Center. And as just to mention by them right now, just for the clarification, we reviewed all the videos, whatever there, some of them were old and those kind of feedback I provided. You guys also can check on that. If you guys need any help or like with the video, is it like successful? Is it useful for us? Then we can use it. If not, then we need to give the review just because we need it for the student. And
Other committees that would like to report out tonight? Senator Roca.
So last week, USAC had a meeting and we discussed about the Veterans Day meal at JJ's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So where you can just show the ID and you can get a complimentary food. The mobile ordering is up for Qdoba and almost like every place except I believe Simple Servings because the menu changes. So I think it's really hard for them to do that. And on November 12th, the James Weir Foundation organized like the station takeover at Ramen for lunch, where like Chef Marcella from BB Soul from Sioux Falls is taking over. So I encourage you to go and have a taste. And there is Big Cities Bites on November 13th, 13th, where I think this time is Austin Big City Bites. So I also encourage you to go there. And then there is an increase in the Starship geographic fencing. So and there will be soon the station. They will have a charging station for Starship robots. End of report.
Other committees that would like to report out tonight? All right, seeing none, are there any questions for any of the reports tonight? All right, then we'll move on to unfinished business. Item A, Jack's Cupboard cover sheet and new venture application. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please introduce this item?
Jack's Cupboard New Venture Fund Request, Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. The Finance Committee met with representatives from Jack's Cupboard on Wednesday, October 29th, 2025 at 8:05 p.m. in the Peterson Conference Room. In attendance was Finance Chair Delahoyd, Senators Anderson, Stein, Pulse, Shemmick, Roca, Christoffels, Chief of Staff Peterson, Vice President Sierra, and President Spear. After discussion with the Jack's Cupboard representatives, the Finance Committee arrived at a unanimous recommendation of approving Jack's Cupboard's new venture application, awarding them an amount of $600 from the fiscal year 26 New Venture Fund. With the approval of the Senate, Jack's Cupboard will be placed on the general budget starting in fiscal year 27, which runs from July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. The amount awarded to Jack's Cupboard for fiscal year 27 and each fiscal year following will be decided during the general budget allocation process that takes place each spring for the next fiscal year. Any questions or concerns should be directed to Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Is there a motion to approve this item? Finance Chair Delahoyd.
I'm going to approve this item on behalf of the Finance Committee.
Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Here today we have President Kay and another representative from Jack's Cupboard here to answer any questions that you might have about the application. The only thing different about this one from some of the others, not a zero fund, it is a $600 fund, which would come from this year's new venture fund of $2,500. So only difference, otherwise, felt that they were doing really good work here on campus and that they were an organization we want to support on our budget.
Further discussion on this item? Seeing none, we will take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Peterson, please call the roll.
Senators Anderson.
Aye.
Barnett. Bolweg.
Aye.
Bry.
Aye.
Christoffels.
Aye.
Darrench.
Aye.
Duncan abstains. Holland abstains. Howell.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Campson.
Aye.
Lopez.
Aye.
Mollison.
Aye.
Podell.
Aye.
Pulse abstains. Roca.
Aye.
Shemek.
Aye.
Smith abstains. Stein.
Aye.
Warfa.
Aye.
Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Aye.
Chief of Staff Peterson. Aye. Vice President Sierra.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and the Jack's Cupboard new venture application is approved. Moving on to unfinished business, item B, SDSU's Pheasants Forever New Venture Fund application. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please introduce this item?
Pheasants Forever at South Dakota State University's New Venture Fund request, Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. The Finance Committee met with representatives from Pheasants Forever at South Dakota State University on Wednesday, October 29th, 2025 at 8:45 p.m. in the Peterson Conference Room. In attendance was Finance Chair Delahoyd, Senators Anderson, Stein, Pulse, Shemek, Roca, Christoffels, Chief of Staff Peterson, Vice President Sierra, and President Spear. After discussion with the Pheasants Forever representatives, the Finance Committee arrived at a recommendation of approving Pheasants Forever at South Dakota State University's new venture application, awarding them an amount of $0 from the fiscal year 26 new venture fund. With the approval of the Senate, Pheasants Forever will be placed on the general budget starting in fiscal year 27, which runs from July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. The amount awarded to Pheasants Forever for fiscal year 27 and each fiscal year following will be decided during the general budget allocation process that takes place each spring for the next fiscal year. Any questions or concerns should be directed to Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Is there a motion to approve this item? Finance Chair Delahoyd.
I'm going to approve this on behalf of the Finance Committee.
Finance Chair Delahoyd, first right to debate.
Yep, so they also have some representatives here. We have Vice President Lucas Johnson, as well as another representative from Pheasants Forever here. If you have any questions. With this one, it's our zero fund that we've kind of done with all the others, where we get to place them on our budget so we can allocate them funds in the spring, and then they can get funds every year moving forward, but no funds for this.
Further discussion on this item? Seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Peterson.
Vice President Sierra.
Aye.
Chief of Staff Peterson. Aye. Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Aye.
Senators Warfa.
Aye.
Stein.
Aye.
Smith abstains. Shemek.
Aye.
Roca.
Aye.
Pulse abstains. Podell.
Aye.
Mollison.
Aye.
Lopez. Campson.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Howell.
Aye.
Holland abstains. Duncan abstains. Darrench.
Aye.
Christoffels. Bry.
Aye.
Bolweg.
Aye.
Barnett. Anderson.
The ayes have it, and the SDSU Pheasants Forever New Venture application is approved. Finance Chair Delahoyd.
Point of order. Thank you, clubs, for coming. You do not need to stay the rest of the meeting if you do not wish to. Thank you for coming. What is the motion?
Okay, moving on to new business item A, Amendment 25-2-A. Chief of Staff Peterson, would you please introduce this item?
Amendment 25-2-A. Title of amendment reads, SDSU Student Association amends Articles 6 of its bylaws to clarify and standardize financial procedures. Prime sponsors include President Spear, Vice President Sierra, Chief of Staff Peterson, Finance Chair Finance Chair Delahoyd, Senators Christoffels, Shemek, and Stein.
Would anyone request this item be read in full?
No, just kidding.
Finance Chair Delahoyne?
So requested.
It's been requested, Chief Staff Peterson.
Amendment 25-2-A. Title of amendment reads, SDSU Student Association amends Article 6 of its bylaws to clarify and standardize financial procedures. Whereas the current financial sections of Article 6 have been difficult to interpret and follow consistently, and whereas the Student Association has a responsibility to ensure that student fee dollars are managed with transparency, accountability, and equity. Whereas inconsistencies in previous bylaw language have created confusion in budgeting procedures, allocation timelines, and reporting expectations, and whereas the Finance Task Force on Internal Financial Reform was established to conduct a comprehensive review of these procedures and recommend improvements, and whereas the Finance Task Force identified opportunities to clarify financial roles, update procedural requirements, and align the bylaws with the current university and general activity fee budgeting guidelines, and whereas the proposed amendment restructures Article 6 for improved transparency and efficiency, ensuring that anyone can easily understand financial processes, therefore be it amended that Article 6, Corporation Finances, shall read as follows. Section 1, Administration of Student Activity Fees. Cooperation. All student organizations and the Senate shall work together to assure that student fees are spent within the limits imposed by the University Activity Fee and Budget Committee and the Senate. Operations. The Finance Chairperson shall receive a copy of all final budgets approved by the University Activity Fee and Budget Committee if he or she has not chaired the committee meetings. Budgetary changes. The Senate shall have authority to increase or decrease the allocation as requested, but shall not make line item changes. Reports. All student fee funded organizations shall supply financial reports to the Finance Chairperson at their request. Meetings. Unit 3 organizations participating in general budgeting must have a representative in attendance at least one student association meeting before the start of general budgeting to describe the group's activities and explain the use of its student fee allocation. If an organization fails to attend meetings as required, the organization will not be allowed to participate in the general budgeting process for the following fiscal year. Exceptions to this policy may be made at the discretion of the Finance Committee. Any organization that presents during an open forum during the current fiscal year completes the meeting qualifications for general budgeting. The Finance Chair will notify organizations of the upcoming Student Association meeting dates at least 2 weeks in advance. Refer to Article 6, Section 3. Procedural requirements. All organizations participating in the general budgeting process must include major events in the Student Association Rabbit Report newsletter, make an effort to advertise events and meetings to the corporation, and display Student Association branding on advertising for all student fee-sponsored activities and events. Section 2, Finance Committee. The Finance Committee shall consist of the following: Finance Chair, a minimum of 5 corporation senators, Student Association President or Vice President as a voting ex officio member. The Finance Committee shall annually draft and pass a budgeting philosophy to reference when allocating student dollars. The Finance Committee shall review the general activity fee budget guidelines at a minimum of every 2 years and present any edits to the Student Association for adoption. The Corporation Vice President and Finance Chair shall supervise applications and assign senators to serve on the Finance Committee. There shall be only one Finance Committee in order to ensure fairness and equality in all budget requests. In the event of a committee member resignation or removal, the Student Association Vice President shall fill the vacancy within 2 weeks. Proxies will only be accepted based on the senator attendance rules in Article 5, Section 3, Subsection 1, and an unapproved absence shall be considered an unexcused absence. Information discussed in the Finance Committee, such as debate, shall remain confidential unless noted in the minute summary shared with the Senate. Rationale may be available at Senate hearings or upon request from the Finance Chair. Breach of confidentiality may be grounds for removal as outlined in Article 5, Section 3, Subsection H. Section 3, Annual General Budget Allocation Procedures. Fund requests. Any organization seeking funds from student fees must submit a formal request as designed by the Finance Chair and approved by the Senate to the Finance Chair and to the Chairperson of the University Activity Fee and Budget Committee. The Finance Chair will either initially accept or reject the budget based on the request and make suggestions to the student organization prior to the budget due date. After the Finance Chair approves the budget, it will be made available to all senators. 2. Process. The committee shall meet with representatives of each student organization requesting funds once a year prior to the allocation of the following year's fiscal budget, which should include its organization advisor and student representatives or executive board members at least 1 week prior to the organization's scheduled Senate hearing to discuss and finalize the budget request. Necessary corrections to the budget should be made by the organization, and an updated copy of the budget request be made available to the Finance Chair for finalization within 48 hours after the meeting. The organization must provide the committee with the finalized budget request at least 1 week prior to the Finance Committee hearing. The Finance Committee, lost my spot. The Finance Committee shall review all student organization budgets thoroughly, including review and compare overall and line item budget history, find and correct all accounting errors, review minutes from the previous year's requests and other pertinent information and topics specific to each budget request. The Finance Committee will notify the organization of its recommendation at least 1 week before the organization's scheduled Senate hearing, usually after the Finance Committee has made a decision in the committee meeting. The Finance Committee will make an allocation recommendation to the Senate. The finalized budget shall be distributed to senators in the following Senate hearings agenda. Senate hearing. The Senate hearing will be scheduled by the Finance Chair. The Finance Chair will provide a summary of the minutes from the Finance Committee meeting to the Senate in the Senate hearing agenda. Discussion of each student organization budget shall be limited to 30 minutes. The Finance Committee must be prepared to defend its recommendation in the context of the overall budget picture at the Senate hearing. The Finance Committee should be prepared to actively participate in the Senate hearing discussion. The Senate will make an allocation recommendation to the University Activity Fee and Budget Committee. University Activity Fee and Budget Committee shall serve as an administrative committee under the Office of the President of the University. Will establish procedures it considers appropriate and necessary for the receipt, evaluation, and approval of budget requests. This will include the relationship with the Senate and the Finance Chair. Shall be chaired by the Corporation President or their appointee. The University Fee and Budget Committee will provide a formal recommendation to the President and Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment Management.
Thank you, Chief of Staff Peterson. Since this is new business, we will be debating on it next week, but I would just ask, are there any questions regarding the format or general concept of this amendment? I appreciate your patience in the read aloud. It was important that we all heard that with our own ears. We will now move on to new business. Item B. Finance Chair Delahoyd.
I move to enter executive session, inviting the non-voting members of the exec team.
Second. All those in favor of entering executive session with the addition of non-voting executive team members, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? We will now enter executive session. Ex officios and non-voting members are welcome to leave, except for me.
Yeah, you could resign.
Right now, should I do a speech? I'm gonna do a filibuster.
Wait, but can you?
Hey, do you know why the chicken crossed the road?
She was sitting like. I swear, every time I say it, it actually sucks. It actually sucks. No, where else? I'm so bad. Actually
Yeah.